Hello there! Today I'm going to talk about Season 4 of Battlestar Galactica. This video follows my previous 3 or 4 videos. I made a playlist of Battlestar Galactica themed videos on my channel for your convenience, so feel free to check it out. Alright, let's jump right into it. At the beginning of Season 4, Adama is still clinging to order in a universe that has spiraled into chaos. The fleet is on the verge of collapse, divided by politics, plagued by mutiny, and haunted by betrayals. Yet Adama remains the anchor. He upholds the fragile alliance with the rebel Cylons, even as it challenges his own prejudices. Roslin's decline forces Adama to drop his armor. In some of the most vulnerable scenes of the series, we see him break down, admit fear, in a rare loss of control. His command is no longer enough. He's losing the people he cares about, and with them, a part of himself. One of the most symbolic decisions Adama makes is during the mutiny led by Gaeta and Tom Zarek. In the face of internal rebellion, Adama doubles down on loyalty and personal responsibility. He doesn't run. He stays aboard Galactica and fights. This moment defines him. He is willing to die with his ship, and for his people. But perhaps the most defining moment for Adama comes in the final episodes, after Galactica's last mission, to rescue Hera from the Cylon colony. The mission is a suicide run, and Adama knows it. Still, he leads it. He's willing to give everything for one child, one symbol of hope and the future. After the rescue, and after Galactica is finally put to rest, Adama does something no one expected. He just walks away. Adama, the man who wants to find himself entirely through command, chooses a different path. He leaves behind the fleet and its politics, the burden of leadership, and all the structures that gave him purpose. He buries Laura Roslin on the new Earth and settles in solitude. His final act is not one of war, but of grief, love, and peace. At the start of Season 4, Lee is no longer in the cockpit. Having chosen politics over military command, he serves on the quorum, and often clashes with Roslin and others in power. His idealism sets him apart. He wants more than survival. He wants justice, structure, and the beginnings of a real civilization. This sometimes puts him in difficult positions, especially when facing mutiny, unrest, and moral ambiguity within the fleet. Unlike his father, Lee questions authority more openly, even when it's his own. Lee's role during the mutiny arc is telling. While his father defends Galactica with brute force, Lee tries to reason, to negotiate, to inspire. He isn't naive. He's been a soldier, and he knows the cost of violence. But he also sees the danger of falling into a perpetual war mentality. Duala, once Lee's wife, had always been calm, composed, and reliable, even when life around her fell apart. After the discovery that Earth is a nuclear wasteland, morale in the fleet hits an all-time low. Everything they fought for, suffered for, believed in, seems meaningless. And in the middle of this despair, Dee seems, for a moment, to shine. She smiles. She talks fondly with Lee. They reminisce about the past. She puts on her uniform and goes on a date with him. It feels like maybe, just maybe, things can start again. Then she goes back to her quarters and shoots herself in the head. The suddenness of it is shocking. There is no build-up, just quiet, calm, and then obliteration. It is a breaking point for Lee. His belief in progress, in reason, in human resilience is shaken. And yet, somehow, Lee keeps going. A key emotional element in Season 4 is his relationship with Starbuck, who has returned from the dead and whose very existence defies logic. Lee's feelings for her are complicated, but instead of trying to control or define her, Lee ultimately lets her go. After the rescue of Hera and the discovery of the new Earth, Lee stands at a new frontier. With the war over and the remnants of humanity choosing to abandon technology and start over, Lee doesn't seek command or power. He doesn't follow in his father's footsteps or retreat into isolation. Instead, he looks forward. Lee expresses a desire to explore, to map the land, to see what's out there. It's a beautifully fitting ending for a man who spent so long caught between duty and freedom. For once, Lee Adama isn't burdened by expectations. He's free to walk, to wander, to build something new, not from destruction, but from hope. Season 4 picks up with the impossible. Starbuck has returned from the dead. Her ship exploded, she was presumed gone. But now she's back, alive, with a new Viper and vivid memories of Earth. To others, she's either a symbol of hope or a potential threat. Her presence becomes a source of conflict, especially when her visions and instincts lead her in directions that defy logic. Kara's struggle this season is internal as much as external. She is plagued by questions. What am I? Why did I come back? Am I even human anymore? Her discovery of her own corpse on Earth sends her into an existential crisis. She has literally found her own body, burned and decayed. She knows she died, yet she lives. And no one, not Cylons, not humans, not even herself, can explain it. This haunting moment sets Kara apart from everyone else in the fleet. Unlike the Cylons, who know their origins, and the humans who know their mortality, Starbuck becomes something in between. She is not a Cylon, not a resurrected human in any conventional sense. She is a mystery, perhaps a miracle, perhaps a harbinger, as the hybrid called her, harbinger of death. But what does that mean? Over time, we realize that Kara's role is not to destroy, but to lead the dying to their end and into a new beginning. She is the one who unlocks the musical coordinates that lead the fleet to a habitable new Earth. The song that haunted her, the melody she heard in visions and memories, becomes the key to salvation. And then, she disappears. As Adama turns to speak to her, she is simply gone. No flash of light, no explanation. Kara Thrace vanishes as mysteriously as she returned. She completes her mission and fades away. Whether she was an angel, a ghost, a resurrected being, or something beyond comprehension is never explained. At the start of Season 4, Gaius Baltar has reinvented himself once again, this time as a religious figure. His cult worships a one single god. He plays the part of prophet, half for survival, half out of genuine confusion. Is he chosen? Is he insane? Or is the head six, who still haunts him, actually real? Meanwhile, Caprica Six is undergoing a transformation of her own. Unlike other Cylon models, she's burdened by emotion, regret, and even a desire for a deeper connection with humanity. Her relationship with Baltar is strained. In many ways, she is his mirror. Where he seeks absolution for cowardice and selfishness, she seeks meaning beyond programming and war. Their arcs converge again with the story of Hera, the hybrid child viewed by both humans and Cylons as the key to the future. Baltar and Caprica Six both risk their lives to protect Hera during the final assault on the Cylon colony. This is a crucial moment. After seasons of manipulation, survival games, and self-interest, Baltar finally makes a selfless choice. He chooses to stay and fight. Not for power, not for glory, but to protect a child. For once, his actions are not calculated. And then comes the vision. In the Opera House, they at last understand its meaning. It was never about power or control. It was about protecting the future. Hera, the symbol of human and Cylon unity, is saved by the very people who were once at the center of the destruction. The traitor, and the one who made him do it. The final twist is also the quietest. They survive. Among all the relationships in Battlestar Galactica, few are as grounded in love, trust, and raw determination as that of Carl and Sharon. At the core of their story is Hera, their daughter, the first successful human and Cylon hybrid, and a symbol of a possible future. Hera's existence constantly places Carl and Sharon in impossible positions. She is viewed not just as a child, but as a key, a prize, a miracle. By humans, by Cylons, by prophets, and enemies alike. And so, Season 4 becomes a struggle for the Agathons to protect their family in a world that treats them like symbols instead of people. Sharon, as Athena, continues to fight for acceptance within the human fleet. She is loyal, capable, and self-sacrificing. But despite everything she's done, she is never fully trusted. This mistrust reaches a devastating climax when Hera is kidnapped, not by the Cylons, but by human hands, manipulated by Cavil's agents. The betrayal Sharon feels is immense. She gave up everything to side with humanity, and they took her daughter anyway. The kidnapping of Hera pushes both parents to the edge, forcing them to confront the limits of trust and forgiveness. Sharon's pain leads to one of the most chilling moments in the series. In a fit of vengeance and emotional collapse, she kills a version of herself, Boomer, the copy who betrayed them and took Hera. It is a brutal and symbolic act. Sharon isn't just killing Boomer, she's severing ties with the past, with the part of herself that might ever have doubted who she is. Athena is not just a Cylon anymore. She is a mother, a soldier, and a person who has earned her identity through sacrifice and love. When Hera is rescued in the final assault on the Cylon colony, it marks a turning point not just in the war but in their story. The Agathons are reunited as a family. They are among the few who get something resembling a happy ending. Not a dramatic sacrifice, not death or disappearance, but a future. In the final scenes, Carl and Sharon walk on the new Earth, holding Hera's hand. It's a quiet moment, without speeches or grand closure, but it speaks volumes. After years of struggle, mistrust, and heartbreak, they are finally just a family again. When Tigh learns in Season 3's finale that he is one of the final 5 Cylons, it shakes him to his core. His entire life has been defined by loyalty to the colonies, to the military, and most painfully, to William Adama. For Tigh, being human wasn't just a fact. It was the basis of his pride and his identity. Being a Cylon feels like a betrayal not only of his friends, but of himself. But what makes Tigh's arc so powerful is that he does not run from it. He faces it. Even as others like Tori embrace their new identity and use it to justify cold decisions, Tigh keeps fighting for the people he's always fought for. He keeps wearing the uniform. He stays at Adama's side. He doesn't deny who he was. He integrates who he is. This internal struggle is most visible in his relationship with Caprica Six, with whom he forms a strange, emotionally charged bond. She sees the Cylon in him before he does, and somehow, in their grief and guilt, they find an understanding. When she becomes pregnant with his child, something thought impossible for full Cylons, it seems like a miracle, a sign that maybe there's a future for their kind. But when the child dies in the womb, it devastates them both. Tigh's grief is genuine. For once, his pain is not over war or pride, but over loss he never thought he'd feel again. Tigh, the hard, bitter old warrior, becomes vulnerable, not broken, but open. The death of the child is also symbolic. It's the end of the old war, the impossibility of a pure Cylon future. The future, as we see later, lies with hybrid children like Hera, not with resurrections or lineages of pure blood or programming. Tigh's loyalty to Adama is tested as well. When the fleet begins to revolt over the alliance with rebel Cylons, Adama temporarily relieves him of duty to avoid political fallout. Even when Galactica is breaking apart, he stays on the bridge. Even when he's no longer trusted, he chooses to fight for the humans who raised him, lived with him, bled beside him. And in the end, he survives. The breaking point for Tyrol comes late in Season 3 when he discovers he is one of the final 5 Cylons. This revelation is devastating. Unlike Tigh, who doubles down on loyalty, or Tori, who embraces it as liberation, Tyrol becomes untethered. He wasn't seeking destiny. He was trying to be a good man, a good husband, a good leader. Now everything he thought was real about his identity is gone. It doesn't help that his wife, Callie, is driven mad by the truth and ultimately killed by Tori to protect the secret. Callie's death is framed as suicide, and Tyrol grieves in silence, full of rage and guilt. When the truth comes out later, Tyrol does not respond with explosive vengeance. Instead, he does something colder. He kills Tori during the final standoff on the Cylon colony, right in front of everyone. That moment crystallizes who Tyrol has become. Someone who has lost his belief in systems, in alliances, in justice. He acts not out of righteousness, but personal pain. At the very end, when the fleet reaches the new Earth, the remaining survivors begin to imagine a new society. Most choose to remain together and begin again. But not Tyrol. He asks to be left alone, far away from the others, in a distant, quiet place. So that's it. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.